Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I wanted to do a little fragrance Q&A. So the last Q&A that I did, it was kind of like more of a personal Q&A, like catching up with you guys, etc. But today I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions about the fragrance industry, fragrance in general, and I wanted to make this Q&A like more focused about the fragrance industry. So I have never really done this before, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but let's just go through the questions together and I'm gonna try to answer them with you guys. I already saw some very like controversial, spicy questions in there about fragrance, so I'm a bit nervous to be honest with you guys. I will also like answer some like fragrance recommendations and stuff like that just to throw it in there for you guys. I will start off with something light. Do you recommend something for summer from Ormond Jane? I love Ormond Jane. I think it's a beautiful brand. And for summer, I would definitely recommend Frangipani, Champaka, and Le Vent. I would say those are my top three for like summer from Ormond Jane, especially Frangipani and Champaka. I absolutely love those fragrances. Tell me the best fresh fragrance. Now, this is difficult because I love fresh fragrances. I have a lot of favorites, but honestly, and I know you guys are getting sick of it, I would say Imagination, of course, Vibrato, of course. I have some new ones actually. I got Pacific Chill. I love Creed Silver Mountain Water, Chanel No. 5 L'Eau. I have like so many fresh fragrance recommendations, but honestly, if you just want like a beautiful, long-lasting, fresh, clean scent, I would say Imagination. Okay, we can start to get into the more heavy stuff now. I feel like we did the polite beginning etiquette, and now we can get into some other stuff. So somebody asked, why is the fragrance industry so meh now? I don't even know what to say to that question because first of all, I totally agree. And there's so much, like I think a lot. I am a huge overthinker. I think all the time. I try to understand like why certain things don't feel the same, why certain things are different. Like I just think a lot. I'm somebody who is constantly thinking about everything. So I totally agree that the fragrance industry feels more meh, especially if you're somebody that has been collecting or reviewing or whatever for many, many years like myself. And I will tell you guys, like the industry when I started felt so special and like magical when I first started doing this. And there's probably a lot of reasons why it did feel so much more special back then. First of all, there was just a lot less brands. There was a lot less fragrance releases. Like I remember like niche brands when I first started would release one fragrance per year. If that, like they would only release one and you anticipated it, you were excited about it, you were ready to smell it, you just couldn't wait. And you would drive to the department store and you would go and pick up a sample, you go smell it, and it just felt so different. I also think that the industry was a lot more creative back then. When I started, the big kind of pioneering designer brands were brands like Mugler, with releases like Aura. I remember when that first came out, and like Mugler was just such like a creative brand. Like every single Mugler release smelled like something you have never smelled before. And a lot of the designer releases back then felt very unique to that specific brand, and everything just felt different. Like I also agree that something is just so off about the industry now. There is so many releases, there are so many new brands popping out of everywhere at any time from people that are trying to make money mostly from the industry. And it just feels like quite corrupted at the moment, to be honest. Like it feels like very much, I don't know, like I really can't even put my words together when it comes to like how I feel about the perfume industry at the moment. And don't get me wrong, I am not like this bitter, like, oh my gosh, everything is terrible. Of course not. I try to really stick to things that make me happy. Otherwise, I feel like I will just like quit because I really need to focus on what other things that bring me joy in this perfume industry. And at the moment, and since like quite a while now, it's trying to find discontinued fragrances or old designer releases that were magical and beautiful. And that is what makes me really happy right now. Is like I have a desk in front of me full of some fragrances that I recently got from my perfume guy in Dubai. And I don't know, it's like Nina Ricci Le du Temps, like an old fragrance that is so beautiful. I got Michael Kors Sexy Amber. Like that fragrance was really like something back in like the earlier 2000s. I got Twilly actually. I've never had Twilly from Hermes and I've always loved it. I got Narciso Rodriguez Poudre. I have like a bunch of things over on my desk that just bring me a lot of joy. Like it brings me so much joy to smell these fragrances from many years ago when things were a lot different in the perfume industry. I think as well, the influencer space has really grown as well. And it feels very much like money, and it feels very like content driven and trying to get views, and it just feels so different to when I started and there was like a handful of us on social media talking about perfume, not knowing where this industry was going to go. So it just felt a lot different in so many different ways. And yeah, I would love to know what you guys think about the perfume industry and where it's going and what are your current thoughts about it, because like I said, there's a lot that I feel about it. Maybe I don't want to say like everything, but I definitely feel very fatigued of the perfume industry at the moment. And maybe some of you guys are going to be like, then why are you still doing it? I love perfume. Like that is the core of what I'm doing. Like I love scent. I love it so much. I cannot let this go. I love it so much. However, I just need to focus on the things that make me happy. And I always have, and I always will. I stay in my own lane like very much. And I think a lot of people know that about me, is that I really don't veer off and get influenced by certain things, influenced by money, influenced by all of this sort of thing. I really just stick to what I want to do and what I love. And I really look at the bigger picture of where I see myself in the next 5-10 years. And I know the journey that I'm on is different to a lot of other people around me, but I'm very happy staying in that kind of direction. So yeah, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but yeah. Also the releases, you guys, like obviously I have my app Sniff and we have somebody taking care of the database of adding new fragrances and new brands to our database on Sniff. And I see the new releases and I am just shocked at how many that there are. Like it's saturating us. Like it's way too much. It's really like way too much. And yes, I'm sitting in a room of so many fragrances right now. So you can say that I'm a part of the problem and that's fine. But like there is just so many fragrances being released every single week that I just think it is so excessive. Like it is really, really excessive how many new releases that there are. And I don't really understand why. I think I don't know. Like I don't know. What disappointed you in the industry and what inspires you to this day? The thing that disappointed me the most in the fragrance industry is a very like emotional answer because I'm quite an emotional person. But it's something that really took me like years to understand, that just because you're building like a network of people that you know in the industry and catching up with people and this and that, it doesn't mean that those people are your friends. And this was really something that took me up until maybe like last year to learn. And I don't want this to sound bitter or like, I don't know, like depressing or something, but I really thought that the people that I was seeing in the industry and like catching up with and really spending time and making an effort to see those people, I really thought we were building like friendships and like things that would last lifetimes. It's not. Like a lot of the time, like people that you meet in an industry that you work in, it's quite transactional. Like this is something that I really had to learn over time, is that work relationships are just that. They're work relationships. They're professional relationships. They're not true, honest, grounded friendships. And although I would say there's maybe like one or two people in the perfume industry that I would actually call my friends, when I was a little bit younger, I thought like most people in the perfume industry were my friends, and that is just not the case at all. So it probably, the thing that kind of disappointed me was coming to terms with that a lot of people are only friendly with me because they want something out of it. And maybe it's even like maybe it's reciprocated. I'm not really sure, but I really went into a lot of those conversations and situations and catch-ups thinking that I was friends with people, but actually it's more of like a professional kind of like opportunistic relationship. And that was something that really took me time to navigate. Because I really think people have like the same intentions as me, but really a lot of people in this industry are sharks. They want to make their money. They want to be politically perfect with everyone. And it's just a very interesting thing. Same with content creators. Like I've met content creators that are very friendly with like another content creator, but then they will talk about them behind their back, and like it's very like, you know, it's really like that. A lot of people are in this like for themselves, and they kind of move in that way for themselves only. So, and I'm not even mad about that. Like that is what a lot of people do. You need to take care of yourself first. But I don't like the facade. Like I'm not a person that likes things that are fake. I don't like the facade. If you don't like somebody, don't be friends with them. Don't pretend to be friends with them to their face. Like if you don't like somebody, just don't see that person. Don't talk about that person. Don't think about them. And I really don't, like I'm like allergic to fakeness. It really bothers me. So that was definitely something that was quite disappointing to me in the industry. And another thing, I think the other part was what surprised you in a good way. Let me check. Ah, yeah. And what still inspires you to this day? I would say the creativity. That's what keeps me going in this industry, is smelling things that really make me feel emotion, that really make me happy and really bring me joy. That is what inspires me. So I feel like now there is a lot less creativity than what there used to be. But still, like I said, at the moment, I am collecting and looking at a lot of like older designer fragrances, and the creativity was like very magical. The fragrances just feel so beautiful, and it really makes me happy and brings me a lot of joy. So I would say probably the creativity is like what still inspires me, along with other things, but I'm trying to think at the moment, like what is it that inspires me the most? I'm not sure. And obviously you guys, like my community of people that like know me, that understand me, that see me for like who I am and what I do is like so rare. Like I really think that that is rare, that you have a community of people that really genuinely see who you are and what you're doing, and they really believe in what you're doing. That also makes me really happy as well. So I would say those are the things, even though that sounded very cheesy. What are the most notable ingredient trends for 2025? Now, if you go back in like a lot of my TikTok content and maybe even YouTube content, I said that 2025 was the year of musk. And I told people in the perfume industry, I told a lot of people maybe about 6 months ago that this is the year of musk, release a musk fragrance, like musk is coming back. Musk has always been very relevant. It's been around for ages, but I knew because of this whole clean thing going on, and myself as well, like I did a video on TikTok talking about my selection for 2025 and how I want to smell. And that video got so many views, and I was talking about clean, sophisticated, understated, really just beautiful, musky, chic fragrances. And I feel like everyone is now launching musky, clean, chic fragrances. Like I just saw the other day on Sniff that Carolina Herrera is launching a fragrance, Cedar Chic, and it has aldehydes, it has musk, it has cedar. So I really see musk is like I've already seen so many releases of musk fragrances, clean fragrances, all of that sort of thing at the moment. So definitely musk, aldehydes, things that are clean, things that are fresh. What else is there? I would say, yeah, like clean musks, things like that. Obviously, there's probably some other things like pistachio was kind of a last year trend, but it's trickled into 2025. And I see a lot of pistachio releases. But personally, like, I think we've had enough of pistachio. There's so many already on the market now. So many brands are jumping on it. But in my opinion, like, if you're like one of the last ones to jump on a trend, it's not like the best look. So, yeah. I would say, in my opinion, it's musk. Could you talk about perfume on the skin and sunlight in the summer? Yeah, I would say do not wear perfume on your skin in the summer, especially not here on like your neck, on your chest. Just do not do it. If you want to still wear your perfumes in the summer, just spray it on your clothes and maybe in some areas that don't pick up a lot of sunlight, like your wrists. But definitely don't spray your perfume like here on the back of your neck, etc. Because the way that the alcohol reacts with the sun, it can really, really burn your skin. It's happened to me one time. It's also happened to Pierre one time. And it's just not a good idea. The oils, the like the like chemicals, the alcohol, when it reacts with the sun, especially if you get burned, you're going to be in so much pain and you can get like rashes, redness, burning. Like, it is horrible. So I really wouldn't recommend wearing alcohol-based perfumes under the sunlight. If you still want to wear perfume, you can spray it on your clothes or your bathers if you want, or on your pulse points that don't really get into the sunlight directly. But definitely stay away from spraying it like here, because I've done that before and it was so painful and I had the rash for like 1 month. It was horrible. So yeah, be very, very careful with that. I've also done it with my skincare actually. I remember I was spraying a Chanel perfume on my skin. It was probably Coromandel, I think. And I had just done my skincare and I used like a glycolic acid pad on my neck, and I like put all my skincare and I sprayed the perfume and it burned. Like, it burned. I had to wash off my neck with like water because it was so excruciatingly painful. So don't do that directly after you've done your skincare. Don't spray on a perfume then. And also be very careful in the sunlight. Either use a water-based perfume or just don't wear one at all. Or you can even wear like a little oil or spray it on your clothes. Those will be my tips. What are your thoughts on House of Beau fragrances? That is a great question. I think that the brand is so aesthetically beautiful. Like the bottles, the caps. I have heard really great things about the fragrances. I only tried like 4 of them when I was in Mexico City, but I don't remember exactly how I felt about them. I remember smelling maybe like the rose. I smelled something else. And I remember they had this DNA of being like very fresh, very like ethereal, transparent fragrances. So I don't remember exactly my thoughts. It was very quick when I smelled them. Like, I just quickly went through. But I would love to revisit the brand. I really want to try Ave Maria from House of Beau because I heard really great things about it. When are you going to launch your new fragrance? I am actually not working on any fragrance collaborations anymore. I made that decision because I feel like it was best for me and also my community not to add more releases to this perfume industry, especially not more collaborations, because there is so many. And I can remain being the first person that did a collaboration. I don't need to be the last person that did a collaboration as well. So I am really proud of my perfume, Minuit Demi. I'm super proud of it. I think it is beautiful. It makes me really happy and I had the best experience creating it. So I feel like I don't want to tarnish and like ruin that experience that I had by trying to replicate it or trying to do another collaboration. Over the years, and I talked about this in my last Q&A, I have had the opportunity to do it multiple times actually, and I have started like actively working with brands on collaborations. However, none of them really went through. Either it was like a mutual decision or it was my decision, but I felt that the timing was not good or things just didn't feel right, and I definitely don't want to release something. I don't want to just release something. It has to be super meaningful to me. It has to be meaningful to you guys. It has to make sense. But I did say that I am releasing something soon. I would say in the next like 6 to 8 months, but it's not a perfume actually. So it's something else. It's something very exciting. I'm very excited about it. But yeah, and I also have Sniff, which is like my virtual perfume baby, and Sniff is doing so well at the moment. I love, and it makes me so happy whenever I see a video on TikTok or Instagram about Sniff. It really brings me so much joy to see that, and see that we have like this loyal community that use the app is really mind-blowing to me. Like, I still don't even believe it, to be honest. It's probably the most shocking thing for me to see that the app that I created with Pierre is like really loved by loyal people that use it every day. So yeah. Would you ever consider coming out with your own brand? Now, I think that this will be like the next step for a lot of content creators. Like, they've done collaborations, they're going to launch their own brand. Again, it's something that I have been approached to like discuss coming out with my own brand. And I really don't want to do it right now because, once again, talking about how saturated the industry is, I really don't think we need more brands and more brands and more brands. If I was to ever launch a brand, it would be like further in the future. But I have always like thought about brands and thought about designs and thought about names and thought about stories I could do. I've always thought about it, but building a brand is like a very long commitment. I think people go into it not assuming how difficult it is, how challenging it is, all of the things that you're going to face being a brand owner. I think a lot of people have like rose-colored glasses on when it comes to launching a perfume brand, and a lot of people assume that it's just sitting there and smelling raw materials and then like being like, yes, I love that one, like let's go. If you have an enormous team, then maybe that will be your case. Like that will be your situation, just smelling and being like, yes, let's do it. But if you are investing your own money, it's just you, the amount of things that you're going to have to face by yourself is huge. Not to mention, like, you're going to have to find people that you trust to work with. You're going to have to find distributors that you trust. You're going to have to figure out, do you want to go retail? Do you just want to be online? Who do you want to work with? Like, there's so many things. The logistics of having a perfume brand is very complicated. And I meet with a lot of brands. I'm fortunate enough to meet with a lot of brand owners. And I see how challenging it is to, especially now because the industry is so crowded, for a brand to release something and for that release to get hype and to get like a name for itself. It is really, really hard because it's like this, you know, like people are fighting against each other to get recognition, to have a successful release. It is really, really challenging. And I see people that are more successful and I see people that are less successful. And it breaks my heart when I see a brand that is like really struggling to get known, is really struggling to kind of find their way in the industry. It is really hard to even see that. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to a brand. I'm sure I could create something really beautiful and I'm sure I could do it, but I'm just not sure if it's like what I would want to do now. Maybe in the future, I'll see. Let me know, guys, as well. Like, what do you think about brands? What do you think about influencers launching brands? What do you think about this? So I also feel like just anybody is releasing perfume brands now. Like, I literally interviewed somebody the other day at Dubai Mall and she was like, just a regular girl. She's like, yeah, I love perfume. I'm going to start my brand. I was like, okay, great. Just in the last 2 weeks, I've heard of so many different people and brands that are going to launch perfumes now. So I really feel like it's something that everybody is getting into. It's the new industry that everybody wants to be a part of. And personally, like I've already said, when it comes to like my collaborations, I don't think people should do stuff that doesn't really make sense to them. Like in the perfume industry, I think a lot of people forget that a lot of the people that own perfume brands are from a business background. They're not these like empathetic little genius, artistic, creative people that are sweet and soft and very artistic, and like it's not like that at all. They're like business people that saw an opportunity to make money. A lot of the brands have investors, so they can kind of take their brand to the next level. Most of the people, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's a terrible thing. Of course, if you want to have a successful business, you need to know about business and you need to know how to grow your business and scale your business. But I'm just saying, I think the perfume industry is like very romanticized, and you need to remember that behind those beautiful bottles are usually business people that don't care if how you feel. They care about what's going into their pockets. So that is something as well that I noticed about the perfume industry, is that it's not, because when I was younger, I felt like everyone was like these sweet, like artistic perfume owners, and it was like this very just sweet industry, but it's really not. It's really like business, it's cutthroat, it's full of sharks, it's just really like that. So if you want to start your brand, I would say you really need to know if you're serious about it, if you genuinely are passionate. Are you going to be okay if your brand never takes off? Like, are you going to be okay if your brand is like a failure? Is it going to affect you? Are you going to be okay spending the next years of your life dedicated to growing your brand? You need to tell yourself all of those things before starting a brand. So that was a very long answer to the question, but that's how I feel about it. Favorite content creator and why? So I actually am not watching like any fragrance content for a couple of months now. And because I have like ADHD to the max, I usually get fixated on certain like genres, and then I just watch a lot of content on that. So at the moment, because I got back into reading recently and I'm so happy about it, because I probably didn't read my books for about 8 months. I recently read a book that just got me back into reading completely, and now I'm like hooked. I have my book over there and I just cannot wait to stop filming so that I can go and read my book. So at the moment I'm watching a lot of book content, but sometimes I watch a lot about astrology as well, because I'm very interested in knowing a little bit more about astrology, because I feel like I know the very like superficial things about it, like all of my charts. I know my sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, etc. But I would love to know like all about the different houses and what they signify. I'm learning a little bit more and more every day, but it's something I'm curious about. So I like to watch anytime a video about astrology comes on my FYP, I always watch it. And fragrance content creators, I will always like watch some of my friends. Like I really like Emma Perfumerism, her TikTok videos. Whenever they come on my FYP, I'll watch it. Whether I'm doing my makeup or I'm cooking, I'll watch her video. Fumi Monet as well, I'll watch her videos too when they come on my feed. But in general, like I'm not consuming very much content about perfume at all these days. Yeah, so that's it. And I don't really watch YouTube either anymore. I'm mostly watching TikTok, and that's probably it, actually. I got another question about brand, like starting a brand. Somebody asked me what attributes or accolades do somebody need to start their own perfume brand. Apparently nothing. Like you really don't. Anyone can start a brand in 2025, like really. But would I advise that? No, I would only advise it once again if you are incredibly passionate about this industry, and once again you've told yourself that you're okay to spend the next years of your life building your brand. It's going to take many, many years. Brands that take off and become successful in 10 years, that is a quick success. That is a quick success. You're not going to become successful overnight. You're not going to have a viral perfume overnight. Like it just doesn't work like that. So you need to be okay with that and stop romanticizing the perfume industry. It's a business. So you need to, if you really want to start your brand and you want it to be successful, you need to look at it from a business perspective, but also you really need to be passionate about this perfume industry. So yeah, I'm not even sure. Like I would say you don't need any credentials necessarily, but you definitely have to have like a strong idea, a strong concept. Please don't launch another random brand to the market that will just get lost in the next few years. Really have a strong concept, I would say. A strong concept, a really strong vision of where you want to go. Like I said, passionate and really focused on what you want to achieve as well. I don't know if that's good advice or not. What's your opinion on high-end perfumers working with the brands that are known for dupes? Well, the thing is that most of the fragrances like that I have, the Latifahs, the whatever, are most of them are created from the same manufacturers, whether it's Givaudan, Symrise, IFF, Firmenich, CPL, Robertet, Takasago. Those are all fragrance houses that manufacture fragrances. They have all the oils and they employ perfumers to work for them. I want to say that a brand like Latifah is a very, very good client for one of those fragrance manufacturers because Latifah, they produce a huge amount of oil. They produce a huge amount of oil. Huge. So they are like those fragrance manufacturers. If they have a client that is ordering so much oil, they need to keep the brand happy. So if a brand like Latifah is like, okay, I want to work with this perfumer and we're going to sign his name on this creation, the fragrance manufacturers cannot really say no because that's one of their biggest clients, if you know what I mean. So I don't really care. Like it's not really something that I care about. I don't really think it's a big deal, the fact that the perfumers are like having their name on those creations, because at the end of the day, for years, those perfumers have been creating fragrances for brands like Latifah, but just not signing the name. So now that it's become this kind of trend to have certain perfumers' names, I don't see why it's wrong for the cheaper brands to be signing off perfumer names. Like I don't see why they cannot do it, but a designer brand can, or a niche brand can, but not a dupe brand. So that's my thoughts. Like I really don't care about it. I just think everyone should do what they want to do. But the perfume industry is definitely very, very interesting. And I think something a lot of people don't know, and I saw some videos of people being shocked about it, is the fact that most of these perfumes, they come from the same manufacturers. They come from the same, like, usually they're using like the same types of oils, not the same quality of oils, but the same, they have access to the same sort of ingredients. So that's something that a lot of people don't know, but yes, it's very much like that. What kind of innovation do we need in designer fragrance? I would say just more creativity. I hate the fact that all of the designer perfumes nowadays smell very similar. I don't mean all of them, because there are definitely brands, designer brands, that still create quite unique fragrances. In general, I feel like the mainstream designer fragrance collections, they're usually more commercial, mass appealing, etc. And then a lot of designer brands now, they have their private collection where they like to experiment a little bit more. And I feel like that kind of makes the signature collections less interesting, less creative, which is such a shame. But anyways, I really wish that designer brands would just be more creative and stop making everything so sweet and stop making everything so amber woody. A lot of fragrances now, you can really feel this like amber woodiness in all of the fragrances. They just smell like very strong and very synthetic, and synthetic is not even like a bad thing. Like every fragrance, a great fragrance is usually a mix of synthetic and naturals. Like it's not a bad word. I'm just saying the fact that they put so much of this woodiness and so much of this sweetness, it ends up smelling just so cloying and overwhelming on the skin. So I wish brands would stop doing that. I wish they would stop creating everything so sweet and everything so amber woody. This would be my thing to say. And bring back creativity. Like, we want something creative. I feel like they underestimate like our, what is the word? Like, they underestimate us, and they just keep giving us the same thing, the same sweetness, the same woods, the same DNA of fragrance. And one thing that I hate, and it's very big in fashion, it's actually big in all industries, in fashion, in food, in everything. When something is successful, like let's say Delina, for instance, loads of brands will start to do their version of Delina, or they will twist it, make it slightly different and release it. Twist it, make it slightly different and release it. And this just is so annoying and drives me insane. Like, why can nobody take the risk and launch something unique? It just bothers me so much because, like I said at the very beginning of the video, when I was younger, Like brands like Mugler, they were such risk takers. Like Angel, Alien, Aura. This was such a weird fragrance, Aura. Like I didn't love it at first, and then I grew to love it, but it was such like a weird green, woody, vanillic fragrance, like super weird and abstract. Yet they did their own thing, and all of the brands did their own thing. Like Marc Jacobs with Decadence as well. This was plum and vetiver, vanilla. Like it was a unique fragrance for women to be wearing back then. And I just don't understand like where the creativity stopped and the copying and the just overproducing and the soulless creation started, because that's what the industry feels like now to me personally. It feels soulless. Everything feels like a copy. Nothing really smells new. It's really rare that I smell something and I'm like, whoa, like what is that? You know, like that smells super unique. And I love designer brands. Like I absolutely love designer brands. So it really hurts me that this is what it turned into. But like how many like iterations of L'Interdit that we've had recently, like L'Interdit, Prada Paradox, all of those type of scents. Don't get me wrong, I really like them. Like I bought Prada Paradox Intense, but then once I got it and I started wearing it, I was like, I have 50 other fragrances that smell exactly the same. What else is there? One designer that I really love, I think it's really beautiful, is Burberry Goddess. I really love it. I don't think it's really unique, but I do think it smells fantastic for a designer fragrance. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Montguerlain with the vanilla, the lavender, but it's super, super nice. But we no longer get the creations like Womanity, Angel Muse. Like these were so creative. And I also feel like brands now, they take less time working on a new fragrance than what they used to. When a perfumer would work on a brief many years ago, usually it would take like a year to 3 years, maybe even sometimes longer to create the fragrance. Now those perfumers, especially with like AI and their robots, they're just banging out those new releases and they feel like they don't have any like care, any passion inside of them. It feels very generic. So I feel like I went off on a bit of a rant, but that's how I feel about it. Which brands reflect your personality the most? That's a really great question. I would say like all of the classic brands. So I would say Diptyque. It's a very beautiful, like creative, chic, minimalistic, yet artistic brand that I just love. It's very understated. The fragrances are very understated. I feel like they don't scream at you. They're very understated fragrances that feel carefully curated and put together. And I would say definitely Diptyque is one brand that I would hope represents me. Guerlain, Celine, and maybe that's it for now. I don't know. Mugler as well, but back then, back in the day. I would say maybe those brands. The first one that came to my mind is Diptyque, but that's because I love Diptyque so much. But I love as well what it represents. So I would hope that Diptyque, Guerlain, Celine, those would be brands that I would say represent me. Which niche brand is overrated in your opinion and which one is underrated? Okay, that's a very complicated question. I feel like guys, that is so hard. I don't really know what to say for the overrated brand. There is a few brands that I think are like kind of overrated. But I kind of feel bad to say the names. But there is definitely some brands that I think are overrated. But underrated, I would say a brand like Nuit Nomade. I would say they're underrated. Dries Van Noten. I do think Dries Van Noten is underrated because everybody only likes Soir Malacé and they don't explore the rest of the collection. Whereas Fleur du Mal is the best floral fragrance I've tried. Rock the Mire, incredible resinous fragrance. I think it's absolutely stunning. I would also say L'Artisan Parfumeur. I think it's quite underrated, especially on social media. I never hear people talk about L'Artisan Parfumeur. It's a very classic French brand, beautiful. Dossé as well. I think it's quite an underrated brand that should get more love and attention. I'm just having a look, you guys, at my collection. Another one is probably like Lorenzo Villoresi. I think it's quite an underrated brand, especially if you like something more vintage, a little bit more classic perfumes. Lorenzo Villoresi is the brand for you. Rania J, very abstract, very rich, unique, strong, high quality creations. Not for everyone, but every fragrance from them feels like it was created with such care and like years of work. That is really how I feel about Rania J. It's a beautiful indie brand. What else do I think is underrated? I would say that's it for now. That is it for now. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm so sad because I answered maybe like 4 questions, but I went on enormous tangents when I did answer those questions. But that is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this fragrance Q&A. I'm sorry that it was very long-winded. But yeah, I feel like once I start talking about something, especially when it comes to the industry and like how I feel about it, I can go on and on and on about it for a long time. Instead of talking to Pierre, I was talking to you guys. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and let me know your thoughts on everything that I touched on today. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me. I didn't mean to come across as like bitter or anything like that, or like, I don't know, like maybe mean or like, I don't know. Like I didn't mean to come across in any other way except for like genuinely expressing like how I personally feel about it. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I will talk to you soon. Bye.